Okay, I have to make this very quick because I don't know how much internet I have here in Costa Rica. I had problems earlier when I had my guy PMing me, and I've had enough caffeine now to talk about anything. I am Suzanne Tickmeyer. I wrote for Pathos, a blog, a column they made us say, not a blog, for nearly 10 years called No Longer Quivering, where I looked at quiverful religion and some of the problems with that. Okay, Saturday is my laundry day, so we're doing this very quickly. As you can see, I have 10,000 pieces of clothing to hang up now. I got ironing. Oh my word. Anyway, long story short, two stories emerged this week that really kind of rocked my world in their own weird way. First of all, we have an official courtship proposal. You know, the family that is hosting Josh Duggar, the good friends of Jim Bob Duggar that took him in, the Rebers, their daughter is now engaged to to Duggar's brother. So it's looking like another Duggar-centered arranged marriage from here. I don't know when the Rebers would have met him. I'm guessing that when Anna's family came up. I don't know. I don't know what that looks like or how that came about, but it does seem suspiciously weird considering the entire her family and her are hosting Josh right now, right up until his trial. And it looks like February is going to be the trial date from everything I'm seeing. So that's just the weirdest of the weird. You know that Jill Rodriguez has to be having a spontaneous orgasm for another link to the Duggar family. Her daughter, Nuri, is married to Anna's other brother, Nathan. So you got another incestuously bizarre link going on, even though they're not related, of course. And the other big thing I wanted to talk about just a tiny bit, Mars Hill. For those of you that aren't familiar with Mars Hill was a big mega church that had 15 different campuses once upon a time. And then they crashed and burned. They were run by a guy named Mark Driscoll. I was always angry about Mark Driscoll because Pathos, something like 2 years ago, maybe three, brought him on after his scandals, after he had pretty much gotten the dislike of the world by talking about women as penis homes. Yes, he did say that. His hyper masculine, curse word laden diatribes were extremely popular with the younger people who were coming into Christianity from, say, the punk rock movement in Seattle and all that. I was never a fan of Driscoll's. Anybody that talks about women in the way, shape, and form that he talked about, I cannot get behind any of their theology whatsoever. I see chat's not working. Typical YouTube for me because of the copper wiring here. Okay, so I'm going to make this brief. Driscoll said so many tacky things. He took church money and bought over 1 million copies of his book that he did on marriage to push it into the New York Times bestseller list, I believe. It was talked about at the time. There were so many things that he had supposedly done, and Mars Hill fell apart. He quit before he could face any kind of real discipline. He quit. Now, Christianity Today, while not my favorite Christian magazine, because they have said and done some things that I can't get behind, but they are doing a very interesting podcast on Mars Hill and what went wrong. And they went in there and they interviewed everybody. And it is must hear. It's must hear listening if you're at all interested in the rise and fall of some of the evangelical world and some of the quiverful world. I'm going to put a link in the description to this for anybody interested in hearing it. My main problem with it, I think they're doing a real good job, but my main problem with it is that they allowed the Theological Seminar to run a commercial first. And the Dallas Theological Seminar, they're very toxic themselves. They're not a whole lot different than Mars Hill. And I don't know why they think that they are so much better. When I ran NLQ, I had two guys come here who still work for the Dallas Theological Seminar. And one of them called me the see you next Tuesday word, and the other one called me the B word. They called me awful names because I was saying that Lori Alexander's very toxic anti-woman message was wrong. So I'm going to say, listen with caution, and don't buy everything they're saying as far as other places being not so toxic. I think there is a lot of very toxic things going on worldwide in the evangelical churches, whether they are supported by Dallas Theological Seminary or not. There's crazy going on, and I don't want any part of that nonsense. I think the church needs to revive itself. It needs to follow the words of Jesus and stop trying to be some kind of giant money-making enterprise that claims to have all the answers. I think as long as churches do that, they're going to keep losing members. These stupid things are going to keep happening because you're going to have all these guys that are not interested in the Word of God. They're not interested in what Jesus did. They're interested in self-glorification. They're interested in money. And as long as that is happening, the world is going to see it for the rotten fruit that it is. Anyway, you guys have a really great day. I'm working on a comedy video that you guys might see here very shortly. Okay, love you guys.